All right, just getting started for those of you who are here. All right, just setting up for our live review session. All right, let's see who is here. Hello, Sarina. Hello, Archit. Let's see. All right, we're starting with a small crowd. Hi, what was it, Kevin? Yeah, that's such a bad memory. I'm sure I've asked before. Okay, I am set up and ready to go. So we can just start firing with the questions if anyone's ready. I hope everyone's having a good weekend and that everyone has a good week this week. Tomorrow is the first day of April. Crazy, huh? That we have just about 2 more months left at school. And that's it. We are almost there. All right, let's see. Yep, I'm good to go. I'm slow to start, but I'm good to go. How's everybody doing? How's Sarina? How's Archit? How's Kevin? How's everybody doing? How are all you guys? How's your weekend been? And also, are you seeing me okay? Hi, Ishida. Yeah, can you guys see me okay, or is it blurry? All right. Sarina, you are just okay? What's up with that? Hi, Cindy. All right, we're getting started. Cool. Hello, Jana. All right, so let's get started. Cindy with the first question. Okay, Cindy, so bacteria in the large intestine. So basically the large intestine, remember, it's where water is taken up into your body. And there are also bacteria that basically feed on everything that's going through, because we can't really call it feces at that point, so we're just going to call it chyme that's going through, and it's actually producing 2 vitamins B and vitamins K. And if you have a hard time remembering that, just remember Burger King. That's what helped me out. So B and K, Burger King. Cool. Jana, I like the smiley face you put up there. Thank you. I could always use more positivity in my life. All right. So that is our first question and answer. What else you got? Yeah, Jana Woo. Hey, Akshat. Nice to see you here. All right. Yeah, more smiley faces. I like it. This one's like a squinty smiley with the teeth showing. I like that. I am drinking some awesome black tea. It's actually tea that my older brother made. It's his own little mix of things that he puts together. It's like black tea and I think rose petals and cardamom, things like that. It's pretty good. Pretty darn good. Okay, Akshat. What is the pathway of digestion? Okay, I think this is a good question. So I think what we should do is we should start from the beginning. So I'm going to walk you guys through the beginning. Feel free to take notes as we're doing this, or just listen and stop me if you feel like you want me to dive deeper with something. But let's start with, let's see, insulin resistance. Yeah, Cindy, I'll get into that too for sure. Diabetes. Archit, yes, you do need to know about diabetes. And Suraj, difference between type 1 and type 2. I'll talk about all of those. So I wanted to actually talk about your gastrointestinal tract. So from the moment you eat food. So remember, mechanical and chemical digestion are taking place in your mouth, right? You have chewing, which is mastication. And the reason I say mechanical is because your teeth and your tongue are sort of like, mechanically or physically moving the food and breaking it down. And then you also have chemical, because in your saliva you have salivary amylase. Okay, remember that, salivary amylase. It is an enzyme, you know that because it's got an ACE ending, and this enzyme breaks down carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are actually getting broken down in your mouth first. So remember that. From there, it's going to go into your esophagus, right? And gravity doesn't matter. It's just going to take it down via peristalsis. Remember that, right? It's like squeezing toothpaste out of a tube. And then from there, excuse me, it's going to go through your lower esophageal sphincter, right? It's going to go through that sphincter. It's going to go into your stomach. And by it, I mean bolus. Remember, bolus is a combination of food and saliva combined. So that goes into your lower esophageal sphincter and into your stomach. At that point, we introduce hydrochloric acid. Your stomach makes hydrochloric acid, which has a pH of, you say it, pH of dose of 2. What's really cool about hydrochloric acid is that it actually, that highly acidic environment allows for pepsinogen, which is an enzyme. It doesn't have an ACE ending. Allows for pepsinogen to convert to pepsin, and then pepsin breaks down protein. So you got PPP, pepsinogen, pepsin, proteins. Okay, how come the hydrochloric acid doesn't burn the stomach itself? Because of the mucus lining, right? Okay, from there, now the combination of food and saliva and hydrochloric acid, it's no longer called bolus. Now it's called chyme, CHYME. It looks like it's chyme, but it's chyme. So now that's going to go through your pyloric sphincter. Remember that, PYLORIC, or pyloric sphincter. From there, it's going to go into your small intestine. So how come your small intestine doesn't burn from this highly acidic chyme? Well, the reason is that your pancreas is secreting something called sodium bicarbonate, right? And that's a base, and it's going to take the pH of chyme, and it's going to raise that pH, which basically means it's neutralizing it, right? The lower the pH, the more acidic, the higher, the more basic. So that way your small intestine doesn't burn. The pancreas also has pancreatic juices. It's got enzymes in there. And those are going to come in and basically break everything down. Now, remember, your small intestine is where most digestion takes place. It's got villi and microvilli, hair-like projections. And these villi and microvilli, they're there to increase surface area for absorption. So within your villi and microvilli, we have these networks of blood, and they're called capillaries and lacteals. Capillaries are going to absorb carbohydrates and proteins. Lacteals are going to absorb your fats or lipids. Okay. That chyme is going to continue working its way down, eventually into the large intestine. In the large intestine, that's where water is pulled out. Remember, if too much water is pulled out, you can have constipation. If not enough water is pulled out, you're going to have diarrhea. And then from there, it's going to go into your rectum and finally out of your anal sphincter or your anus. Okay, just want to make sure I covered that. So I think if we have anybody come and ask that question, I'm going to refer them back to this part. So help me by telling them where to go to. So now I'm going to go to some of the questions that you were asking me earlier. So I'm going to start with, let's see. So Akshat, I hope that helped you. Cindy, can you explain insulin resistance in diabetes? Yeah, Cindy. So remember, type 1 is when you have diabetes where your body's not making any or enough insulin, right? So you have to have insulin injections. Type 2 diabetes is when your body, when your cells are resistant to insulin, which basically means, insulin grabs the glucose, comes knocking on the door to a cell. It's like, knock, 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 let me in. And the cell's over it. The cell's like, nope, not interested. That's insulin resistance, right? And the things that help with that is a better diet. Exercise really helps with that. And so that's type 2 diabetes. Cindy, let me know if that helps answer your question. I'm going to go down to Archit. What we'll have to know about diabetes. So Archit, you'll have to know type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. You'll need to know about what the roles of insulin and glucagon, as well as glucose, glycogen, what the liver does, what the pancreas does, the relationship between the liver and the pancreas, and then things to do to what do you do if you have one of these types of diabetes. Those are the things you're going to have to know. Okay, so Raj, what's the difference between type 1 and type 2? So I think I explained that one, but I can explain it again later. Kevin, about differences between heart attack and cardiac arrest? Oh, so Kevin, I know you're probably in learner's class, right? I haven't covered those in my class yet. Tomorrow's quiz that I'm giving is just about digestive system, nutrition, and blood sugar regulation. So Kevin, if you want, you can shoot me an email and I'll be happy to respond to your question that way. That way I'm not confusing anybody for whom the quiz is tomorrow. And again, the quiz tomorrow for my students will not have any cardiac arrest on it. We'll be getting to that soon, though. All right. Karthi, hello, sir. Kevin, is chyme what you vomit? What is the organ? Well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess the chyme is what you vomit in a sense, because it's a combination of your food, your saliva, which is bolus, and then you mix hydrochloric acid with it. So that's chyme, right? What organ does this? So it's basically your sphincter. So it's coming out of your stomach, right? And at that point, you have your lower esophageal sphincter, your LES. That's just going to go poof. It's just going to throw everything up. And so that's what's happening here. It's coming out of your stomach when that happens. Kevin, nope. There's Karunya. Hello, Karunya. Nice to see you here. Suraj, how do you treat acid reflux? Lots of different treatments. They say, your diet should change. You shouldn't overeat, which is a problem I have. You should not eat spicy foods. This actually could happen to pregnant women too, where they could have indigestion. What else? What else can I tell you about it? There's medicine you can take. There's lots of different types of medicine actually that basically shut off your the parts of your stomach that produce acid. Shut them off or just kind of inhibit them a little bit. So there's lots of different stuff out there to take actually. All right, Karthi, can you explain what happens when your blood sugar is high and low? Sure, Karthi. When you have just eaten and your blood sugar is really high, well, hold on, let me go back to where the question is. All right. Okay. Yeah, when your blood sugar is high, when your blood glucose is high, yeah, right? By the way, remember hypo and hyperglycemic. Hyper meaning high, hypo meaning low blood sugar. So if your blood sugar or blood glucose, I'm going to use those interchangeably. If your blood glucose is high, then what happens is your pancreas is going to basically send out a lot of insulin. Insulin is going to go and try to grab all these sugar molecules, all these glucose molecules, and give them to your cells. And if your cells are good, then it's going to take all the excess and it's going to give it to your liver, and your liver is going to convert all that glucose into glycogen, which is a form of stored energy, stored carbohydrates, right? If your blood sugar is low, your blood glucose is low, same thing. Your pancreas steps in, it sends out glucagon, which is also a hormone, just like insulin. Glucagon goes in there, goes to your liver, knocks on the door, says, hey, we need some glucose. Your liver converts glycogen into glucose and sends that into your bloodstream. Okay. One thing to know is it doesn't send out so much to the point where like insulin then has to kick in so much again. So just kind of remember that too. That's a little nuance. All right, let's see. How does adrenaline and cortisol contribute to high blood glucose levels? Cindy, that's a great question. I know that cortisol and adrenaline have to do, well, hold on one second, guys. Yeah. Thought somebody was knocking on my door. That might be my dogs. Give me 1 second, you guys. I want to make sure everything's good. Thanks. It's okay. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. Okay, making some yogurt tonight. Okay, what were we at? Adrenaline and cortisol. So it's not something that I talked about, Cindy, at all. I don't even know that I necessarily know really the nuances and the specifics on that. So let's put that one on hold. It's not something that's going to be on the quiz, on tomorrow's quiz at all, at least for me. It's not something I ever mentioned. But I can look it up and we can learn that together. Let's see. Gondar. Yes. What's up, Gondar? Okay. Glucose. So Gondar says, my guess is that it converts more glycogen into glucose into your bloodstream to give you extra glucose for energy. Yeah, that's correct. If you're talking about liver, yeah. And you're talking about low blood glucose. Prasant, how does exercise help reduce insulin resistance? Okay, so without getting into too much detail, exercise basically makes it so your cells, it's kind of like this. Think about it like this. Your cells get so fed up with insulin coming and knocking on their door and being like, hey, I got glucose for you, right? if you're eating a ton of glucose all the time and you're not exercising, your cells get to a point where they're just like, you know what, you're bugging me too much, you're knocking on my door too much. When you exercise, your cells almost get this like, oh, so he cares or she cares. It's almost like a forgiveness plan. Look at it that way. I know that's not very scientific or specific, but for the where we are and what we need to know, I think that'll hopefully help. All right. Hello, Ria. Nice to see you. How many people we got? Oh, we got 24 people here now. Nice. All right. Okay. No problem, Kevin. Exercise causes your cells to pull in more glucose from the bloodstream. Yeah, exactly. Ria, what structure produces B and T cells? Okay, so that's going to be your spleen, but that's not till Tuesday, right? So we're not going to have a spleen on the quiz tomorrow, but we are going to have it for the first mini practical on Tuesday. Okay. Amukta, nice to see you. Will there be an A-level question? No, Amukta, there's no A-level question on this. I actually just made it kind of straight up, like no C's, no B's, no A's. It's just like a regular quiz. I'm just kind of playing around with different ideas, and I'll need your guys' feedback on what you think. Ishida, this is for the photo book, but are there any diseases that happen in the cecum? Let's see. You know what I would do? I would probably, for that page, I would probably talk about appendix and appendicitis. That's probably the direction that I would go. Cool. Cindy, why would increasing surface area also increase absorption? Okay, so think about it this way, Cindy. The more surface area you have, right, the more of these networks, of these lacteals and capillaries you're going to have. And the more of those that you have, the more absorption that's going to take place. Kevin, no problem. Jayanti. Jayanti is such a cool name. Can you explain the relationship between the liver and the pancreas? For sure, Jayanti. So when pancreas releases insulin, a hormone, insulin goes in because there's too much, not too much, but there's a lot of glucose out. So insulin goes in, looks at all the glucose in your blood, grabs it, and then takes that to your cells. And if your cells are good and they don't want it, if they're full, then it takes it to your liver, right? Insulin takes the glucose to your liver. Then your liver has to convert that glucose into glycogen. Right? Same thing with glucagon, the other hormone that the pancreas produces. If your blood glucose levels are low, pancreas sends out glucagon. Glucagon goes to your liver and says, hey, I want that glucose back. So liver has to convert that glucose, or excuse me, that glycogen into glucose and then send it back into your blood. So blood sugar regulation, really the two organs that need to have an awesome relationship with each other are liver and pancreas. Right. And the more sugary foods we're eating, the more pressure we're putting on those two organs. Cool. All right, Kevin, you don't understand how acid reflux is treated. Acid reflux is more like a physical thing. So how could... Oh, okay, so Kevin, it's I know what you're saying. It's not just a physical thing, though. That's the problem. You have a lot of pumps in your stomach, right? A lot of pumps that are basically... Imagine like little tiny volcanoes, right? They're producing all this hydrochloric acid and just it's coming out. And what these pills do is they go in and they shut off these pumps or they calm them down. Okay. All right. Gondar said basically. I don't know what that means, Gondar, but Gondar, you are always right. So yes, I'm going to say yes to Gondar. Prasant, what's the function of the appendix in humans? So the appendix used to be thought of as a vestigial organ, but we know that it's not. We know that it actually helps with your immunity, right? So I think, if I remember correctly, it's where your B cells are going to be matured. Yeah. What else? Gondar, LES is weak, and yeah, that's the other issue too. Your lower esophageal sphincter, sometimes its function is not 100% correct, right? If it opens up, your hydrochloric acid is going to come up because think about it, it's constantly doing this. And all of a sudden, if you have a hole, it's just going to shoot up. Okay. Akshat, is acid reflux like a heartburn? Yes, but we don't typically call it heartburn anymore because it used to be called that. And I want you to know that that's what that is. But when you have acid reflux and you feel a burning, painful sensation right up here around your heart, that's what they used to call or still call heartburn. That's what we call acid reflux. Kevin, did that explanation make sense? I think your OOOOHHHHH is you saying that you got it, which if you did, that makes me really happy. Okay. Let's excuse me, what type of digestion occurs in the liver? So Shreya, hey Shreya, there's actually no digestion that takes place in the liver. The liver actually is sort of a filter. So a lot of what your body kind of considers not poisonous things, but things that need to be filtered out, things like alcohol, right? They have to go through your liver, and your liver has to basically filter all of that out. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Those are my paintings. I painted those several years ago. I did, Akshat. Yeah, those are just some of my paintings on my examples of my paintings. I totally forgot that they were up there, to be honest with you. Actually, I think they were somewhere else, and then my wife decided that she was going to put them up there, which, cool. I dig it. No problem. No problem. Okay, looks Aria's here. Aria, you're saying thank you to Cindy. Good. Whatever Cindy did. Good job, Cindy. All right. So what are some other questions you might have for me? Drinking my tea. You know what's interesting, you guys? While I'm waiting for your questions, I'll tell you something recent in my own life. So I have decided that I want to isolate my liver fat a little bit, because about a year ago I did my blood test and one of my liver enzymes was a little high, which could mean that my liver is basically like there's a lot of fat gaining in my liver, and it could just be a genetic condition. And so I decided that I'm going to try to isolate that. So I'm actually going to go into something called a keto diet that you may have heard of, which I'm kind of getting ready for. Like, it's for someone who loves carbohydrates so much, it's not easy. Uh-oh. Looks like something happened, and I don't know if we're live anymore. Are we live? I don't know. Can you guys still see me? Let me know if you can still see me. Yeah? Okay. Cool. All right. That was weird. Like, my page just said like, hey, it's not working anymore. Okay. Alex, what tea is this? This is black tea mixed with rose petals and cardamom. It's my older brother made me. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Well, hopefully you guys can still see me. Let's see. Perfect. We're live. I'm cool with that. What is the function of the appendix and the spleen? So the spleen is going to have a couple different functions, right? It's going to be where red blood cells get recycled, because about every 4 months, about every 120 days, our red blood cells get recycled. It's also a place where it makes B and T cells, which are immune cells, type of white blood cells. Okay. Appendix is going to be where we're going to mature B cells. Let's see, Cindy. Ooh, thank you, Cindy, for coming in with the info. Akshat, reservoir. I don't remember. Did we talk about reservoir at some point? You guys are funny. Just watching some of your guys' messages to each other cracked me up. Kevin, will the test ask for the function of any of the organs or something like that? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, not every test is going to be the same. They're all going to be very similar because we're testing the same things. But it's very possible that your teacher might ask you about functions of organs. To be honest with you, I feel like it is extremely important for you all to know the functions of all the organs. Absolutely. So yeah. All right. What other questions you got? Because if you don't have questions, I'm going to keep talking about my new diet. And that's probably going to bore you. Aria, your teacher is different. How so, Aria? Tell me about that. I want to know what you mean by that. Oh, man. All right. Who dat? Natsumi, hello. What is the alpha cells and beta cells? Natsumi, you don't have to worry about alpha and beta cells. They're both cells in the pancreas, but you don't need to worry about them. Okay. Surya, what do you need to know for the quiz? Okay, so generally speaking, you need to know digestive system video lecture and skeleton notes. You need to know things like the hamburger worksheet, like all the homework assignments I gave you. You need to know the nutrition video lecture and skeleton notes. You need to know the blood glucose regulation lecture that we had in class, and then just all the homework that goes with all of that. Okay. Let's see. No, you guys don't have to know alpha and beta cells. Not to worry about that. At least for my class, you don't have to know that. Hey, Nitin, nice to see you, buddy. Will there be an A-level question? No, Nitin, I didn't break this one up into a CBA. I just decided to just kind of do like a old school quiz, like I used to way back in the day. This is probably when, I think the last time I gave an old school quiz that wasn't CBA was probably when you guys were all in, I want to say maybe 4th grade. So this will be interesting. Is it possible to remove the gallbladder? Surya, yeah, if your gallbladder is infected, you'd have to remove it. And then when you do, you tell the patient not to eat as many fats anymore. By the way, one thing I want to make a point of, we've talked about left and right when we talk about that in class in regards to pig dissection. Remember, when we say left, we're talking about the left side of the pig. When we say right, we're talking about the right side of the pig. We're not talking about our right or our left. All right. Saivi. Yeah, Saivi. What is bolus? Bolus is a combination of saliva and food. Kevin, what's an A-level question? So Mr. Gann, Mr. Jones, and I like to give these A-level questions at the end of our test that are basically like, it's a written response where students respond to a scenario that we've given them. All right, Alex, how's fiber related to glycemic index? So fiber is related to it because when you eat foods, one thing I taught you in class is glycemic index, right? How quickly or gradually your blood glucose goes up. So one thing I didn't teach you in class, but you don't have to know it, is there's something called glycemic load. Glycemic load takes into account the quality of the food you're having too, not just how sugary it is, not just how much glucose there is in it. So if you have a food like carrot versus carrot juice, right? The reason why carrot is better than carrot juice is because with carrot, you're also getting the fiber. And that fiber is going to help slow down your digestion, and it's going to allow your glycemic index, right? It's going to make that go up more gradually. Whereas if you just drink carrot juice, it's going to go boom. All right, let's see. What else we got? Sarina, yep, Surya, good. Kevin, if a person can live with if a person can live with only one kidney, why do we have two? That's a great question. You need two because those two are constantly doing a lot of work, right? I mean, it's great to have two. I wish we had two of everything, to be honest. I wish we had two hearts too. Actually, do I? The skeleton notes say that fibers are considered carbohydrates, but can fibers be proteins? No, fibers are not proteins, turn out. No, sir, they're not. Carbohydrates are, yeah, fiber is considered a type of carbohydrate. Kevin, does it have something to do with evolution? What do you mean? I'm confused about your question, Kevin. All right, Saivi. So when does bolus turn into chyme? The moment it touches hydrochloric acid. A-level question, Surya, I answered that one already. And then think about this, like at what point is chyme considered, like what are all the places chyme goes through? For example, does chyme go through the lower esophageal sphincter? Does it? Or is that bolus? Does chyme go through the pyloric sphincter? Does it? Or is that bolus? Does chyme go through the, anal sphincter, the anus? Does it? Or is that bolus? Something to think about. All right. What is the function of the pyloric sphincter? The function is to keep food from entering the small intestine, right? And when it's ready, then it goes into the small intestine. So the pyloric sphincter is a little sphincter that separates the stomach from the small intestine. And the first part of the small intestine is called the duodenum. All right, let's see. Cindy, you want someone to explain to you how feces is, let's see, the rat feces takes to be excreted. So I don't understand. Be more specific with your question. Because, I mean, it goes through small intestine, right? It's not called feces, really, until it's in your rectum. but it's going to go through stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then eventually be stored in your rectum until it's released. All right, let me see. Oh, no problem, Kevin. It's all good. Cindy, so does bolus become chyme in the stomach? Yeah. What does the pyloric sphincter do? Nissa, pyloric sphincter, like we just talked about, it's the separation between stomach and small intestine. So it's going to keep those two organs, keep the food in those two organs separate when it needs to be. What happens if the liver can't produce bile? Oh man, Surya, that's a great question. If your liver is kind of going all wrong and it can't produce bile, you're going to have an issue with breaking down lipids, my friend. That's a big problem. All right. It controls the flow of chyme. Okay. Where does pancreatic juice go and what does it do? So Nissa, pancreatic juice is going to have several things in it. It's going to have pancreatic enzymes that are going to break down all the different biomolecules, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, so on. It's also going to have insulin and glucagon. It's also going to have sodium bicarbonate, so the small intestine doesn't burn from the highly acidic chyme. All right. But do people go on juice cleanses if their glycemic index wouldn't increase gradually? Juice cleanses, hi Ashley. I need to understand your question a little bit better. So do people go, let's see, on juice cleanses if their glycemic index wouldn't increase gradually? Are you saying that the juice is going to increase your glycemic index faster? Think about what they put in that though. Usually when you do a juice cleanse, they're not too super worried about glycemic index. They just kind of want to clean out their system. They just want to stop eating sort of solid foods, right? And it depends on what you put in that juice anyway. Okay. What's the function of the urogenital opening and papilla? Okay, so Nitin, the urogenital papilla, it's basically part of the integumentary system, right? Which means skin. And it's supposed to release pheromones to attract other pigs, whereas the urogenital opening is reproductive and it's excretory. Reproductive because for males, right, that's where the penis comes out of, sperm comes out of. For females, baby comes out of there. Let's see, it's also where sperm would go into or semen would go into. Excretory because that's where urine comes out of for both. Hey, Jonathan, nice to see you, buddy. Jenna Shalouf, nice to see you. All right, Keshav, yeah, you good? Sarina, good. Jonathan, when did it start? It started half an hour ago. Well, will you need to know about phytochemicals? No, Alex, I did not teach you much about that, so no worries about that. What organs are part of the excretory system? Nissa. So Nissa, we haven't gotten there yet, but they're going to be things like kidneys and your ureter and your urethra and so on. Okay. Let's see. What is HDL and LDL cholesterol, Saivi? There are two types of cholesterol. HDL is high-density lipoproteins. LDL is low-density lipoproteins. HDL is something that's good for you. It sort of cleans out your system. LDL drags down your system. So when you get your cholesterol checked at some point in life, they're going to tell you about what your HDL and your LDL are. You want HDL to be high, LDL to be low. What's the relationship between fiber and glycemic index, Surya? So if your food has fiber, your glycemic index, right, it's going to go up more gradually. It's not going to shoot up. All right. Let's see. Jenna, explain what the benefits of healthy fats. Yeah, for sure. So healthy fats, remember, your cells are going to need a lot of fat too. There's lipids on your cells, your phospholipid bilayer. So you need healthy fats for lots of different things that are going on in your body, right? To make lots of different we don't have to get super into like what is making, but just know that your body has a need for lipids, and your body sort of likes lipids because it wants to save them for a rainy day, for a day where you may not be able to eat. All right, let's see. Hey Arnab, nice to see you. All right, let's see. Will there be some fill in the blanks or matching? Yes, there is some of that for my quiz. Run it. Hello, Run it. Nice to see you. You explained type 1 and type 2. Okay, Nitin, if you go back a little bit towards the beginning, maybe the first like 10, 15 minutes of this, I went over type 1 and type 2. If we have time at the end again, I'd be happy to go over it. What systems are the umbilical cord part of? So I'm going to just say, hi Shrika, I'm going to say umbilical cord is going to be circulatory, really, because it's It's supporting the umbilical vein and arteries. So for now, just for now, let's say circulatory. Nissa, why don't humans have a cecum? Cecum, because we're not herbivores, we're omnivores, right? And herbivores have a cecum because that's all they eat. They're more specialists, whereas we're more generalists, so we can eat anything, whereas they need to eat plant foods. And so breaking down the cellulose is actually really good for them because they can take energy from that, whereas we can't break it down. So it basically turns into fiber for us, right? So one of the questions earlier was, is fiber carbohydrate? Yes, cellulose is fiber. Cellulose is a sugar and therefore fiber, or therefore carbohydrate. All right. Ria, how does insulin increase blood sugar levels? Insulin does not increase blood sugar levels. It decreases blood sugar levels. All right. Let's see. Umbilical cord and anus. Did I forget anus? I may have forgotten to write anus. If it wasn't up on there, don't worry about it. If you want to add it to there, it's going to be on there in the future, so you can add it to there if you want, but you don't have to. If it wasn't on, if it's not something I posted into Google Classroom for your photo book, then you don't have to worry about it. I don't want to change my mind, the night before the photo book is due and be like, add this and that. That wouldn't be fair to you. Okay, is the entire quiz multiple choice, Nathan? Most of it is. Run it. Yeah, Google Classroom is what you want to refer to. A-level question. I answered that one already, Run it. So if you rewind, you'll see it. All right. Explain villi and microvilli doing the small intestine. Yeah, they increase surface area, right? So imagine like if you just had this one long tube, right? The surface area would be everything that's exposed. Now imagine that long tube, but it's got a lot of hair-like structures everywhere. Those increase the surface area so you can have more absorption take place. All right. Well, you need to know how to read a nutrition label for the quiz, Jonathan. Jonathan, that's a very good thing to always know, how to read a nutrition label for the quiz. Will you need to know about antioxidants, Surya? Yeah, I mean, I want you to know that antioxidants in foods are really good, and they help in making sure that your free radicals, where your food's breaking down, right? There's a lot of free radicals that are just kind of hanging out on their own, and antioxidants come in there and don't allow them to oxidize. They grab onto them. All right. Gondar, you did? I'm sorry, buddy. Bye, Ronit. Nikhil, big oof. Arnab, do we need to know about nutrition, diabetes, and digestive system? Yes. Do we need to know about stuff about the dissection or other systems that we may have learned? I mean, this quiz is going to cover everything. It's like all functions, right? Whereas the big practical is just going to be about like pointing to something, like identifying it, and then telling me the system or systems, and then telling me the functions. So they're different in a sense, but also they have a lot of similarities. All right. Yep. Ishida, you're right. Colorful fruits are going to have, not flutes. Colorful flutes do not have antioxidants, but colorful fruits do. What's a free radical? Nitin, when food's breaking down in your body, you're going to have these things called free radicals. Nissa, what is chyme? Chyme is a combination of hydrochloric acid, saliva, and food. Alex, my teammate on the photo book, hasn't contacted me about it. Well, you guys should definitely communicate tomorrow, because it's due tomorrow night, 11:59 p.m. Homies, don't drop the ball on that one, because that's a big deal. That's going to go into the quality category. Ishida, don't be scared for the practical. It's all good. You're going to do great. Okay. Greater omentum and the peritoneum are not part of the systems, right? Yeah. So Jonathan, greater omentum, I just want you to call it connective tissue. That's it. If I say what system, just be like it doesn't have a system. Peritoneum, we're just going to call it integumentary skin. Easy. All right. Let's see. Where's Arjun? I don't know where's Arjun. Yeah, Akshat, greater momentum. I'm just going to say, Ms. Chow and I decided we just want students to say connective tissue for that one. Guys, this shows how like disconnected I am from the world. I don't even know what Discord is. What the heck is Discord? But I don't know the functions. I'm scared I'm going to get something you don't know. Ishida, it just takes practice, honestly. Like, you know what I would do if I were you? I would take all the terms I put on Google Classroom, make little flashcards, right? And then go through them, maybe put up a picture, find a picture of a dissected pig online, Google it. And then at that point, you just point to things like you pull the pancreas card, be like, boom, there's the pancreas, and then pretend like I'm asking you the question. So the next question would be, what system is it a part of? You would say pancreas is digestive, pancreas is endocrine, which means hormones. Then I would ask you, what does the pancreas do? And you can talk about sodium bicarbonate, you can talk about insulin, glucagon, a number of things, right? It just takes practice. All right. Let's see. What are the advantages of having brown rice instead of white rice? It's less processed, right? It's got more fiber. Is the urinary papilla linked to any diseases? Not that I know of. But what system is a greater momentum part of? We're just going to say, it's not really a system, Akshat. Really, it's just connective tissue. Okay. Akshat is not, yep. Good. Everybody's helping each other out again. I love it. All right. When are we going to the thing from the pig ID practice presentation? What do you mean, Trinav? The thing from the pig ID practice presentation? What you talking about? I don't know what you mean. So I'm going to take a sip of my tea because I don't know what you mean. Let's see. The one that says the pig ID. We already did that one. We did the one for digestive, for what do you call it? The abdominal cavity. We already did that pig identification. Do we need to know all the functions of the organs for the quiz? Yes. Yes, Hillary, you do. Hillary, have we met before? You do need to know all the functions for sure. Oh no, Trinav, were you absent for the day we did identification? If you missed it, it's on YouTube. It's on my channel. It's on Mr. Jones's, Mr. Gans. Go find that on there and make sure you watch that for sure. What will the challenge questions be like for the big practical? Nissa, challenge questions? Really anything, honestly. I mean, imagine if you were in my seat, right? The student says something like, the stomach's function is to produce hydrochloric acid, and its function is to produce pepsinogen, which gets converted to pepsin, right? Then I could be like, okay, so what does pepsin break down? And you'll say proteins. And I'll say, how does pepsinogen convert to pepsin? And you'll say, because it's highly acidic. And I'll say, when you say highly acidic, what is the pH of that? And you'll be like, it's dose. And then I'll be like, amazing, 5 out of 5. All right. Yeah, Chernov, you missed it, man, but it's okay. No big deal. I mean, if you know what we can do, if you guys want, what I could do is potentially maybe Tuesday before school, if you guys want to show up a little in advance. I'll be there working out at Monte Vista, but my workout is going to be done around 7:30. If you guys want to come in and get a half hour of studying in for the pig, you're more than welcome to. What system is the urogenital papilla, SIV? It's going to be integumentary. At least that's what I tell my students. Cool. Cool. Nissa, yeah. Condor, reproductive. I didn't say reproductive for my students, for urogenital papilla. For opening, yeah, opening is reproductive and it's excretory. Remember, when I say excretory, it's the same as urinary, right? But it's not going to be reproductive. Now, here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if your teachers have told you that it's reproductive. So go with what they want you to say and to do. But for my students, I told them that it is not reproductive. The urogenital papilla does not have a reproductive function physically. Q. What else? T-sip. What is the anus a part of? No. So Nissa, anus is not a part of the excretory system. Excretory has to do with urine, with peeing, right? Whereas digestive has to do with pooping. So your anus is going to be digestive, not excretory. What cells does the spleen make again? It's going to recycle your red blood cells, and it's going to make B and T cells, which are white blood cells. Your genital opening is part of reproductive and excretory. Yes, Saivi, that's correct. That is correct. Saivi, I see you have a picture up here. I can't click on it. It won't let me click on it. I don't know why. I'm trying to see what some of you guys look like, some of you that I don't have in my classes. But it won't let me. Oh, well. Those of you guys who are on this, watching this with me, or, doing this with me, you should totally come to my class and introduce yourselves. I know that Condor has, I know a couple people have. If I haven't seen you, I would love to see you guys, to see what you all look like, to see what all the viewers look like. Does the spleen make platelets? Trinav, you do not have to worry about platelets. I don't think I talked about it in class yet. What is the function of the spleen? Hillary, I just went over it a little while ago, but the spleen is basically going to be in charge of recycling your red blood cells every 4 months, and it's going to be in charge of making your white blood cells, your B and T cells. The function of the spleen. Yeah, you guys are asking a lot of questions about spleen. Look, Hillary and Surya asked the same question. So now you know the answer. Nissa, which system is the cecum a part of? Digestive. Yup. Good job, Gondar. Gondar, you're my homie. I walk by sometimes in the back of Miss Lerner's class. I see Gondar and he always waves, and I really appreciate that, Gondar. It's always very nice seeing your face in the mornings. It brings a smile to my face super early in the morning. I appreciate it very much. I love it when students are so pleasant and kind and say hello. It means a lot to teachers. I think, we could have bad days too, or just tired days. And so when you guys give us that energy, it means a lot. So I appreciate it. So your B and T cells are your immune cells or white blood cells. They're for your immunity, for fighting bad stuff. What's the function of the anus, Saivi? The function of the anus is to release your poop, to release the feces. What role does glucose and glycogen play in diabetes 1 and 2, Ria? So let's see. Glucose is going to play a role in that. When you eat food, it's going to get converted. It's going to get broken down into glucose, and then insulin has to break it down and take it to your cells or take it to your liver, right? And if you constantly have glucose, at some point over many years or many decades, eventually your cells can become resistant to insulin, which is sort of like the helper that's trying to take glucose into them. And so that's type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, when you don't have insulin and there's nobody who can take glucose anywhere to the cells or to the liver. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah, good job, Gondar. Bone marrow and thymus cells. You're correct. That's what the B and the T stand for. Yep. You don't need to know about pig stuff for the quiz, right? Jenna, what do you mean by pig stuff? Like identification? If that's what you mean, then you're correct. You don't need to know identification for the quiz. Skandar, you thought you'd fall asleep in class and miss it again. Missed what again? I'm going over it anytime. Okay. Nikhil. I have a Nikhil. What are the two functions of the digestive system, Suraj? It's got many, right? It's trying to basically break down the digestive system. Here's the thing. It's not in charge of distributing everything once it's breaking things down and digesting it, right, and absorbing it. Once the absorption takes place, your circulatory system kicks in, and then it starts to kind of distribute everything. So remember that. That's an important thing to remember. Your genital papilla anterior to the anus. Yes, Saivi, you are correct. I love that you know these terms. That's super helpful when I walk up to a group and the surgeon and assistant surgeon understand these terms. That's really cool. It's the function of the lymphatic system, Aria. Lymphatic system, its job is to basically protect your body. Lymphatic and immune are sort of interchangeable in some ways. And lymphatic system is going to clean your body out. It's going to collect all the gunk in your body and clean it out. Any diseases linked to the small intestine? Yes, IV, there are some. There are people who have issues with digestion. Lots of different things could happen there. Arnab, do the liver and pancreas directly come in flow of the digestive tract? No, they don't, Arnab. By the way, one thing that I think Saivi just reminded me of is that, remember in your photo books, you do have to have those connections to diseases/disorders or, prevention. So do make sure that you have that. It's not just, term, system, function. There's a little more to it than that. Be sure to look through the little rubric that we handed you guys. That rubric is going to have all the information on how to get a perfect score. on the photo books. All right, let's see what else. Gabriella Morali is here. Hello. Yeah, celiac disease. You're right, Gondar. That's part of it for small intestine. What else we got? Function of the endocrine system. Endocrine has to do with making hormones. Jenna, does that mean we need to know about the different parts and functions? Yes, Jenna, you do need to know about all the different functions. Yes. What are the solutions for type 1 diabetes? You'd have to inject insulin into yourself, or you'd have like a pump, right? And you would just pump it, but it's already connected to your system, to your blood. So it's going to be, kicking in more insulin into your blood. What are ways to prevent, reduce the chance of type 1? So Nikhil, type 1, there's no way to reduce or prevent it, right? It's something that typically one would get at an early age. And if you get it, then you will have it for life, most likely. But there are ways to prevent and treat type 2 diabetes where you have a healthy lifestyle with what you eat and how much you exercise, right? If you have a sedentary lifestyle, if you're a couch potato, then you're very much raising your chances of type 2 diabetes. Will you need to know identification for the test? No, Ron, you don't. When we were physically describing the liver for the pig, how would we describe it? What do you mean? Why would you have to physically describe it? You just point to it, right, Saivi? You wouldn't have to physically describe it. Insulin therapy, yeah. Anika, is the pancreas a part of the endocrine system? Yes, Anika, it is. It is very nice to see you also. In other words, will we need to know all the material on the practical on the test? Not all. The only thing that the quiz doesn't have tomorrow is identification, right? There's no identification on there. All right. Ishida says, wait. Grace is here. How does exercise help lower blood glucose levels? Exercise basically makes it so that your cells, which were insulin resistant, are going to be more forgiving, and they're going to take in insulin, which is carrying glucose. Healthy weight, good diet, lots of exercise. Yep, Gandhar, you're right. You are right. Is the only way to get type 2 diabetes to lead an unhealthy lifestyle? Yeah. What is glucagon and insulin, Surya? Those are two hormones produced by your pancreas. I highly recommend that if that's your question, which it sounds like it is, you look up the lecture that I gave in class. I think for 4th period that day, Mr. Penev was there, and he gave the lecture beautifully. Make sure you go to that. It's on Google Classroom. Make sure you go check it out. Shivali, hello. Type 2 diabetes is when you have insulin resistance, so your cells don't want to respond to insulin anymore, right? So when there's glucose in your system, insulin goes and grabs it, wants to take it into your cells, and your cells are like, no thanks. That's what's happening. So your blood glucose continues to stay high, right? That's the deal with type 2 diabetes. When we're given a description like how it looks like in the photo book. Oh, Saivi. So for my students, I haven't asked them, at least from what I recall, to give a description of what something looks like. Yeah. Sorry, I know that's not very helpful. Okay, let's see. Gandhar, based on my understanding, glucagon is a signal to catalyze reaction to convert. Yep, you're right. You are totally right, Gandhar. Hillary, what is the function of the large intestine other than absorbing water? That's kind of it. You have bacteria that are producing B and K vitamins too. Let's see. All right, we are close to the end. I'm going to take another sip of my tea. Is the liver posterior or anterior to anything? Well, yeah, totally. I mean, really, when you think about posterior, anterior, think about what those mean. Posterior means closer to the tail. Anterior means closer to the head. So you can find anything and find a relationship as far as posterior, anterior, lateral, medial, all those things, dorsal, ventral. Okay. In the photo book, we only need the anatomy, right? Can someone tell me what anatomy is? First of all, anatomy is the parts of a system, of a body, where they're located. What's gastrointestinal, Jenna? Gastrointestinal is the tube that starts right here and goes all the way down to your anus. That tube where food is in the whole time, that's gastrointestinal tube, GI tract. You already forgot what those vocab words mean. Sorry. It's okay. I put a picture of a pig and put all those terms on it in my classroom. I think some of you took pictures. And then I also did another one on Google Classroom if you want to go and check that out. Oh, Gondar, you guys got 4. I think I gave my students 8 of them. All right. Why the pancreas is part of the endocrine system. Jenna, the pancreas is part of the endocrine system because you have insulin and glucagon. Those are hormones that are being produced by your pancreas, and hormones are part of your endocrine system. Let's see. Okay, looks like you guys are helping each other a lot. I love it. I continue to love it. It's good. My laptop's battery is starting to die at a good time as we near the end. Where exactly is the mesentery? It is not. We can show you on the pig. It's basically holding the small intestine in place, right? It's this tissue that's like transparent tissue almost that's holding the small intestine like to the body, to the gut. All right. Jenna, you're asking great questions, as many of you are, all of you. Keep it going. Whoa, look, 34 peeps. I like it. And I got 5 likes too. I don't know if I've ever paid attention to the likes that I get or the dislikes. Would you dislike it if the the review session was total crap? Would you be like, thumbs down, H dog? That was terrible. I wonder about that. Oh, the likes are going up. I got 10 likes now. That makes me happy. Makes me smile. Thank you for whoever just did that. 11. I appreciate it. Yeah, a dislike. That'd be funny, guys, if I got a dislike. If I have a really bad review session, do dislike it. I won't be offended. It'll give me some good feedback. Yeah, thanks, Nikhil. Thanks for liking the vid. Ooh, 17. Oh my God, you guys are flattering me with the 19 likes. I don't know. Yeah, you know what, guys? I have to tell you something. Jones did a video. I was gonna say music video. Jones did a video several years ago. It's the antibiotics one, right? Where he's playing this video game. And that thing got like, man, that thing went viral. I don't know how many likes it got. I don't know if I'm making this number up, but it was like what was it, like 100,000 likes? Am I making that up? That was a lot of likes. And Mr. Gann and I were like, let's try to beat him. And we actually tried, but we realized that we're not ever going to beat him. I think Jones is like, he has hit, I don't know. I think my popularity will never go up there, but I'm okay with that. I'm just one of the low folk. All right, let's see. Surya, does pancreas produce insulin glucagon? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I had 19 likes and then it went down to 18. What the hell? Did someone take back their like? Is that our relationship now? We're gonna take back our likes. We're gonna play with H Dog's feelings. Messed up. All right. Whoever did that, that's actually kind of funny. Are we still what? Immunocompetent after childhood? Who's asking that question? Gabriella? So let's see. I haven't gone into that at all, Gabby Morali, but it's one of those things you and I can work on afterwards. If you want to email me, I'm happy to help you out with that. But yeah, I worry that if I did right now, I'd confuse a ton of people. Hey, likes went up to 20. Thank you. Good. Hillary's helping. What's with the super large vocab, Gondor? I don't know what you mean by that. What's large vocab? Will we have to be able to identify the mesentery in the pig practical Nissa? Nissa, I don't remember because it's not coming up till May 10th, but we'll show you where it's at, if that helps. Gabby Morali. Gabriella Morali, I would like to meet you in person. I don't know if we've met. It wasn't so much. Okay, so Gondar, I totally feel you, man. It's a lot of vocab. Now, think about students who are in sheltered bio, right? They're trying to become proficient in English as well as learn bio vocab. And that's really hard. That was also me when I was learning bio. It was tough because you're essentially learning another language, right? But I like that about biology. I don't know why. Like I love languages. And so for me, it's something that I actually enjoy. Did I ever tell you guys that when I first took bio, I did not do well and I didn't have a positive relationship with my teacher? It was no bueno. Hey, 24 likes. Take that, Jones, wherever you are. And Gan, actually, no, I don't have anything against Mr. Gan. Mr. Gan's awesome. I love Mr. Gan. If you have Mr. Gan, tell him I think he's amazing. Mr. Gan is incredible. Jones is too, obviously. I'm just messing. Chow's legit learner. One of the best people I know. All right, let's see. We are nearing an end, 8:59. Okay. Well, I hope you guys don't stay up too much longer. I hope that you get some sleep. Yeah. Saivi, tell Mr. Gan that. Please do. He's a great teacher. You got Mr. Gan, you are very, very lucky. But I feel that way about all of these teachers. If you got me, sorry. Oh man, Jenna, cholesterol is basically a type of lipid, right? You got HDL, LDL, high density lipoproteins, low density lipoproteins. And so you want to have high HDL, low LDL. Cool. All right. Let's see what else we got. Ishida, you're working on the photo book, math, studying for bio and Spanish. You got a lot on your plate, homie. Yeah? That sounds like a lot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, you know what, guys? I am going to take these 24 likes that I got tonight, and I am going to have a good night. That's going to make me be positive about tomorrow. Just a heads up, I will not be in class tomorrow. I'm going to be at a district training. So the TAs are going to be running class tomorrow with the help of our sub. I'm going to take those 25 likes with me from this video. So thank you for those 25 likes. I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, Saivi. I appreciate you being here. Condor, am I leaving? Yeah, I'm about to take off. About to go have my dinner. I haven't had dinner yet. Nissa, you're welcome, Nissa. Yeah. Roma Hashemi. Roma, did you go to the Persian New Year festivities today? Did you go to Vesona Park? I'm wondering. I saw one of my students there. I saw Arvin there, but I did not see others. Yeah, no problem, Sarina. Thank you all for saying thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, Anika. No problem, Shreya. You guys are all wonderful. Wonderful human beings. Yeah, no problem, Gondar. Appreciate you. Ria. Roma, you're not that cultured. Roma with the jokes, man. Shivali, no problem. No problem. Nitin, Ishida, Nissa, Arnav, Gondar, Jonathan. I'm glad that was helpful. Thank you. Nikhil, Danada. All right. Good luck, everybody. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being who you are. I appreciate you very much. I got 26 likes. Take that, Jones. All right, you guys. Have a good night. See you not tomorrow, but I will be there on Tuesday.